ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
Sports betting isn't a gut call. It's a market with prices that move. WagerBird shows you what to bet, when to bet it, and how the line is changing live. Every pick is time-stamped. Every result is tracked. Start betting like an analyst with WagerBird.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the MLB Odds Couple Midday Market Report with myself and Scotty Webb. I'm live from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, a warm 83 degrees. Today's headline, Dodgers lose at Wrigley. Is it an NLC preview? But first and foremost, a shout out to our proud sponsors and partnerships. It's WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download the app. It is free. Travis, Zach, Guy, myself, Amber, Holly, Carol, Bucks, Matthew, Allen, Drew, Jacob. Hope everyone is enjoying their time out in Vegas at Bet Bash. Download that app. It's free. Jump on over to X. Join the community at WagerWire. And while you're there, head on over to wagerwire.com/marketplace and take a look at all the tickets that are up for sale. Maybe invest a little and profit a lot. And of course, CEO Blaine Davis of WagerBird here every Wednesday at 10:05. The financial, I like to say, New York Stock Exchange, Wall Street version of sports investing. Enjoy our WagerBird Wednesdays and look forward to a big fall in 2027. So if you haven't already, head on over to wagerbird.com. Take a look, purchase some birds, some gems, some points, maybe the hot sheet. Any questions you might have for Blaine and his team, send an email to info@wagerbird.com. So without further ado, and the Red Sox just scored again. Scott Webb. What's up, Scott?
Hey, I was on the Red Sox yesterday. It was pretty fun. They scored 6 runs in the first inning. That makes your day pretty good, or at least a pretty good start anyway.
You know, it was comedy, and they got the gift that the Dodgers didn't. You remember the travel teams on Sunday night ESPN. Dodgers lost last night. They are now, the Sunday travel team is now 1-8, their last 9 on that Sunday night game on ESPN. Red Sox get the day off. Trade deadline's over. Adley Rutschman at Fenway Park. The vibe couldn't have been better. Bases loaded, 1-0. The Turbinator hits a grand slam, and then Duran says, "Hold my beer." He hits a home run. Scotty, 6-0 before the end of the first. 29-5 the last 34. Now, I remember a few years ago, you do too, that huge run the Dodgers had. It was like 42-8, their last 50. What the Sox are doing and the vibe, and it's going to end sooner or later. The number was a White Sox number, and now with Sonny Gray, they're begging you to take the Red Sox again. But how are you going to go against this freight train?
Yeah, if I was betting on that game today, I would bet White Sox today. I'm not betting that game, but I mean, if I was going to bet that game, I think you've got a spot here where I know everybody likes Sonny Gray, but Sonny Gray is 100% not. He's not an ace, but he's a good number two. He's a good number three, right? So he's going to have his downfalls every once in a while, and looking at under the hood metrics and stuff, he's ready to have that. And Burke on the other side for the White Sox, he just gets no respect, and he's a great pitcher. So here's the one thing everybody needs to keep in mind about all this stuff. All these runs are great. All these teams go on runs. Now the Red Sox runs a lot deeper than most of them at this point in time. That being said, the Red Sox still lack star power. So as the seasons are going to be coming down to the wire and things are going to happen, I'm not saying they're not going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that they're a bad team. None of that. But you put out you or PB or somebody put out a lineup and it showed a box score or whatever it was, and you could just go down the list and boom, 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 and it's just star after star after star on the Red Sox roster, and you can do that on a lot of teams back in some of the 80s and early 90s and 70s teams, and you can look at how good these players were, and when you have great players, you can get consistency of predictability in what they're going to do. When you have when you're counting on guys like Durbin and Rafaela and those kind of guys to carry, and with Siegler and all these guys that are doing stuff, that's not necessarily going to continue in the way that they are today. That said, ride it out as long as you can and enjoy it as long as you can, because the truth of the matter comes down to is, I don't know that there are superstar rosters like they used to have in the back in the day, and you had all these great hitters on one team. If you were to go back and look at the early not early, but maybe early 90s, but late 80s, like Cleveland Indians roster and the lineup that they used to put out there, for God's sakes, you'd have a heart attack to go face that lineup today. But my point being is that 1 through 9, like the Yankees, they're putting out garbage every night, but yet somehow find ways to survive and win some of these games. And that reminds me that there's a couple things going on every year. At a certain point in time, things change in baseball. Well, we're at it again. The deadline has passed, which whatever, no big deal. The deadline's gone. So you saw a lot of players get released over the last couple of days, and some of them are fairly big names. I mean, Jorge Soler, that's a fairly big name. Mitch Garver and I don't know, whoever else, whatever else got released. Well, they're not making it on the teams that they're playing for, and maybe another team can pick up guys like that. So that might be a good thing. Like the Guardians, for example, maybe they can go get Jorge Soler. That might be a good help to them. But as then you got to look at the guys that came in and make an impact. Some of these guys are making an impact in day one. I mean, look what Luis Ariz did for Philadelphia, and I think the guy that the Yankees, two guys the Yankees got in have been pretty good, and then the call-up kid was pretty good, and that's another one you got to watch. You got to watch the call-up kids and how well they go, because I know people aren't watching Detroit, but they brought up a kid that plays center field for them, and he's supposed to be, what's his name, McConaughey. He's supposed to be really good. So we'll see what that looks like. So sometimes, they get rid of these guys, and you don't really realize maybe some of them were malcontents, and some of them, might make the roster better. Like in Texas, Corey Seager's not playing again because he's hurt again, but he's been trying to play. That team does better when Corey Seager's not in the lineup. And that's just an impossibility for me to say because Corey Seager is like a superstar, and that team plays better when he's not there. So maybe there's an issue there. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know that clubhouse. I don't know those players. I don't know him. So I think as the season's kind of winding in, you got to watch that. But the other part of it is the sports books change, and they already are. I put it in my article yesterday, the Guardians yesterday were like minus 150 over the Mets with Cantillo on the mound, and against Manaea. Look, the Mets, I know everybody thinks they're the worst team in baseball, but they're not. Power rating wise, they're very similar to what Cleveland is. And then if you go, hey, here's Cantillo and here's Manaea, well, yeah, Cantillo's better than Manaea, but he's not 150 better. So now you're getting to a point where a lot of lines odds are crazy. They're crazy numbers, Jeff. Now they're way out of the way out. So first example today, Houston plays Toronto. I love the Houston Astros in this game. I'm not paying 200. There's no damn way that they should be 200. Hey Timmy, how are you? Good to see you on. And I sit here and I go, Brown's been, if it were a normal season and he wasn't hurt and he's their ace, I think he could be good here, and maybe 200 is the right thing. Hey PB, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. But I sit there and go minus 200. My number in the game is minus 160. Minus 160 is where I sit there and go, well, I might play it, I might not play it. Let me see what it looks like. But minus 200 means, okay, well, I'm not doing that. So now I got to go look at the run line. So think about it, right? The run line bet, if you make a run line bet, you're betting on your pitcher, the pitcher that pitches for the Astros, to hold the opponent, Toronto, to 1 or 2 runs. And you're hoping your team gets 4 or 5, right? That's how it should be. But in this case, now you're betting that the Astros offense is going to score 6 or 7 and blow up Taillon for the Cubs. Or not the Cubs, the Blue Jays. And they might. But at the same time, that's your bet. I can't bet that. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to, you have to bet the run line on your pitcher. Your pitcher has to hold the opponent to 1 or 2 runs. Then you can bet it. But you can't bet it based on the idea that your team's going to score 7, because they might not. That might be a day where Taillon's found something, and the Astros sit there and go, well, whatever, we beat this team a couple times, we're taking a break and blah, blah, blah. We're got to travel the next day, and, maybe their mind's not all with it. So I think there's a lot of spots where the lines get out of control. So my shift in what I'm doing is I'm looking for underdogs as much as I can right now. I played Detroit last night. I thought it was a great bet. Turned out to be a great bet. They won 8-0. That's pretty good. And they were, plus 115 or whatever it was. So I liked that. And I looked for some today. And I'll still play short favorites if I can find any short favorites. And I'm going to play totals. And of course, I bet a total yesterday. I bet the Royals and the Twins under 9, and they scored 10 because they scored 4 runs in the 8th inning. Damn, pissed me off.
Shout out to Timmy. Shout out to PB. Yes, he said he had Colorado. PB said he had Colorado first 5 last night. What's been a godsend for us, the first Monday and Tuesday, I played your Rays first 5 team total over, full game team total over. Yesterday, first 5 team total over, full game team total over, and I needed that. Thank God that little rally in the ninth. It was 6.5, and they got to 7. So you're right. The markets are tough right now. They're adjusting like everyone else is as we get closer to, of course, September 1st, where the real race and the sprint.
They just want you to start betting football.
No, they do. 100% they do. So we have some day baseball. We have a lot of people watching here, and I'm going to pull you front and center to do your thing, and I'll be in the air, and I'll jump back on soon.
Yeah, no worries. So let me get my stuff up here. Bang, there we go. So my computer in its infinite wisdom says, hey, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It has 8 spots to bet today. The Lightning just put out the internet. Look, let's see. It's Florida, man. I don't think people understand that, Florida is the lightning capital of the world, and we get tons and tons of lightning. So anyway, it is what it is. Sorry about that, PB. So the first one it wants me to bet is that one I was just talking about, the Houston game. It wants me to bet on Brown. It says I got a 72% chance to cover 1.5, and that's probably pretty close. It's probably pretty true. But here's my problem with that game. And if you bet it, I'm okay with it. I almost did. I just backed out of it at the back side of it. So Hunter Brown is an ace. He's a 60 game score guy. 60 for the season kind of guy. He's really, really good, but he was hurt, right? So he missed a lot of last season, if not all of it. He came back from Tommy John, and he's getting his sea legs back, and he's had some decent stuff. He's a game score 53. He had his last time out was a game score 50, so it's an average number. But before that's an 84. Well, okay, that's what he's going to do. He's going to throw that every once in a while. Before that's a 41, 46, 13, 50, and 40. So in his last 7 starts, he's only had 1 start that's been exceptional, and you need an exceptional start to cover a run line. So I don't like the idea that he's going to go out there and throw these great exceptional starts over and over and over until he starts doing it. So he will do it, but he's not doing it yet. And I don't want to bet on the idea that he'll do it. I want to do it when he's doing it, right? So don't ask a team and don't ask a player to do something they're not. So that's what I'm not doing. I'm not going to ask him to go do it. But the point being is that Jamison Taillon has missed the last 2 weeks because in transition from he was cut, put on waivers, and then Toronto picked him up off of waivers, so they had to make a trade. So they gave away whatever to get Jamison Taillon, and so three starts ago he threw a game score 12, and before that he threw a game score 34. Before that he was hurt, so he's only thrown 2 starts in his last month maybe or so. So that's not very much to say, hey, he's doing good or bad. But I will tell you that he's been bad all season. His game score for the season's a 41. It's not very good. I went back and looked at, his last, say, 18 innings or so, and he's a pummel pitcher candidate. So can the Houston Astros take advantage of that? They can. Their offense is it still number 1? Their offense is number 2 in baseball. They're number 9 in isolated power. They're scoring 6 runs a game. So they have the capability of putting up a big number today. But keep in mind, if he gets in trouble and they don't take advantage of it, meaning that they score 2 or 3 runs or whatever, it's not enough. But if they score 2 or 3 runs and then Taillon's in trouble and they take him out and they put in their bullpen's been decent. It's not been, elite, but it's been decent. So that can hold them in the game. And that's the scary part about this scenario is And then what does Brown do? So I just look. I'm not paying minus 200. I didn't like it that way, so I bypassed it. And where is? Oh, there it is. My computer likes the game to go under, so 5-2 is what it says. And if it's 5-2, that's only 3 runs, and you got to cover. You got to score win by 2. So I just stayed away. But I don't mind if somebody bets it. I don't think it's that far out of the realm of possibility. Minus 1.5 was plus 100, so it's not like it's it's going to cost you to make that bet. So anyway, that was my thought on that game. And then my computer says, "Hey, go bet on the Cubs again." All right, look, the Dodgers haven't been good. The Dodgers haven't been hitting, and then their pitchers haven't been terrible. The starting pitchers, it's their bullpen that's been letting them down. The bullpen's not been good, So then you go, okay, well, what's going on with the pitchers today? Well, Eric Lauer's pitching for the Dodgers, and he's got a terrible xFIP Sierra number, but that's kind of normal for him. He's always going to have that because he doesn't strike guys out, and he does give up a few home runs. So the 3 true outcomes are not good to him. He doesn't walk a lot of guys, so it's a matter of whether or not he can get outs where the batters hit him, and he's been doing that. So he's been a little more effective than maybe what you might think he has been. So that's number one. So when I looked at that, his Eric Lauer, his batting average against is 180. 180. It's under 200, and his WHIP number is .87. His BABIP number, so batted balls in play, is 174. Now, you can sort of attribute some of that to him, but that's a luck kind of thing too. So he's been very lucky, and he's been getting out. So it makes it a little more difficult for the Cubs in this spot. And then Imanaga, statistically, is way better. He hasn't had. He's been pretty good. He's a game score of 56 in his last 7 starts, 54 for the season. His big deal is, does he give up home runs or not? Well, in his last, say, month, 30 days, he's only allowed 1.09 home runs, which is average. So it's not been terrible. His strikeout rate's in the green. I mean, his walk rate's in the green. You got to watch that with him because he does get out of control with his walks occasionally, but he's in really good shape there. So I thought pitching-wise, he's in pretty good shape, and his RE24 score is phenomenal. And I thought, well, that might be a good bet then. So then I started looking at the hitters and the batters, and I thought that the Cubs were going to have a big advantage on offense. They just have a little one. They're scoring 4.2 runs a game, and the Dodgers 3.7. Well, that's not a huge number. They're 9th in offense. The Dodgers are 18th in offense. The Cubs are 2 runs better than an average offense. The Dodgers are 3 runs worse than an average offense. The Dodgers have 5 guys that aren't helping them, but have 5 guys that are. So it's a net 0 on the offensive side. Whereas the Cubs, and I thought this was kind of interesting, they have 5 negative WAR guys, net 2 negative WAR. So they only got 3 guys that are driving their offense. I would want it to be a little bigger than that. Look, they're the favorite in this game. If they were an underdog, I think I'd bet them today. I would prefer to bet the Dodgers in today's game than to bet the Cubs. Now, that being said, I don't have enough faith to do that. But I also don't know how long the Dodgers stretch of losses and bad play is going to go. At some point, they're going to turn it around and start hitting again and doing stuff. So I didn't like that. So I passed on that. But I don't mind a Dodgers bet. Let's put it that way. I don't think the Cubs are the right side. You've got San Francisco and Texas, and I wanted to bet Texas. The number in this game is minus 155 or more, depending. My Profit X is 155. This is Bradford pitching for Texas. He's been hurt all season. He got hurt last year, so he's coming back from Tommy John. It's his first start. I don't like to bet on guys like that, but at the same time, I don't like to bet on guys like that. San Francisco has kind of said, well, "There you go, we're not playing anymore." So Wisenhunt's pitching, and he's been really bad. Wisenhunt, his last time out, he threw a game score 17. He's a run value score 523. So combined xFIPs here is over 5. He's going to give up runs. So where this came into the problem for me is the line is 150 to 55. I have the line at 129. If it's 129, I'd have bet it. But it's not. It's 155. And then when you start to look at it, well, you can't bet Texas anyway. Texas is scoring 2.8 runs a game. They rank 24th in offense. The Giants rank 20th in offense, so it's not like the Giants are killing them. So I was like, one team's minus 6 runs to an average offense, Texas. The other team's minus 5. So you need a pitching edge. Well, the pitching edge is with Texas. But is it? I don't know, because he hasn't pitched all year. And you're going to pay minus 150 to get there? Nicholas says, what's your level of concern? I'm a 4 to 5. No Snell, no Glass now, and no Will Smith. Here's what I'll tell you, Nicholas. Snell starts next week. He has, I'll tell you when he's going to pitch. The Dodgers. Where's the Dodgers? Snell. Blake Snell. 8-11. So August the 11th, Blake Snell is scheduled to start that day, and he'll be pitching against the Royals and Michael Wacha. So I have no concerns about Snell. Glass now yesterday threw 2 innings, only 16 pitches, but 2 innings in a rehab start. He'll probably make, I'm going to guess, 3 more, maybe 3 more. They got plenty of pitchers. So I think he will make 3 more starts, and we're in August. So by the end of August, Glass now will be back, and he'll be on the roster. Will Smith is more of a different problem. They went and got catchers. They got they got Ben Rortvedt, which they've had before, and lots of teams have had Ben Rortvedt. He's not the greatest hitter, but he's a pretty good catcher. So they've had him. Rushing, I'm concerned about, in a sense that I don't know that he's going to play again this year. He has an arm problem, and I don't know that it's going to do well for him. They put him on the disabled list, but the MRI came back not very good. So I don't know that he's going to play. So they also picked up a catcher from the Rays, Hunter Fiducia, who he is what he is. He's not a bad guy. He's fine. The Rays were using him. He's going to be the catcher. That's going to be the catcher, and then you're going to have somebody you probably never heard of be the backup guy, or Ben Rortvedt maybe. And he's got familiarity with the Dodgers, so I think you're going to be okay. But you're not going to replace the ability of Will Smith, and maybe he comes back. I don't know. It's some weird thing with his neck. And then I don't think you're going to have rushing either. It says, I think we're in a funk. Baseball's a marathon, not a sprint. We lost to Boston, Chicago, hot teams, but eventually we'll cool off. This is August 2nd, months away from the playoffs. Look, this Dodgers team will be ready to go come playoffs. That's just and what you'll have that nobody else has is you'll have the best pitching rotation in baseball. And then theoretically, here's what I think. Theoretically, I think you need Mookie Betts to start doing stuff. Mookie Betts is hurting this team more than he's helping this team. Yeah, I get it. He plays defense, but he needs to be an offensive weapon. At one time, if you went back 2 or 3 years, or maybe even just 2 years, and you go Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, or however they put him in there, those are all Hall of Fame guys. Well, Betts isn't playing like a Hall of Famer. Hasn't for, over a year now. So he needs to start carrying the offense a little bit, because Pages is doing the best he can. I think he's done well. He's just not a a superstar. Muncy comes in and does what Muncy does. He hits the key home runs when nobody else is doing stuff. Teoscar Hernandez needs to step up, and I know that he's been hurt and different things, but I think that'll be all right. But Tommy Edmonds been playing great for them. Otani's starting to hit again a little bit, but Otani's not hitting like the greatest guy in the world, hitting 55 home runs and stuff like that either. So they'll get there. They're the Dodgers. The Dodgers kind of coast along and work on stuff until they're ready for the playoffs. It's a different deal there. So I love your questions. I love how you're thinking about stuff. But I am not really worried about Snell. I'm not worried about Glass now. And you got to remember, when Snell pitches, he's a Cy Young guy, so he can be that. Of course, he can also be really bad, but he's more or less a Cy Young kind of guy. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Dodgers. I appreciate the question. Good job. And so this Texas game, I just stayed away. I think it's bad. It's bad in the sense that you don't know what you're going to get from Bradford, and the offenses aren't that far apart, and Texas isn't scoring anyway. And they need to get their stuff together, or they're going to be out of that playoff mix just like that. Because Houston's taken off. Seattle's falling back too. They need to start getting their butt together. Anyway, so Tampa Bay plays Colorado today. I like Tampa Bay today. Martinez didn't pitch good the last time out. And it's interesting that Martinez, his metrics aren't very good anyway. But he gets people out. He's won a lot of games. He's one of those guys that I'm just going to call it. Hey, Rocket Sauce, man. Good to see you in. Nice to have you on board today. And then when you have a problem, and I don't say it's a problem. The Rays offense is scoring 4.7 runs a game. You can bet on them. That's good. They rank 8th. That's not bad either in offense. But Colorado's offense has been pretty good, and maybe that's because they've been facing some of the bad pitching that Tampa Bay's been throwing out there. They're scoring 7.8 runs a game. So you have to overcome some of that stuff if you're Tampa Bay, and they have. Caminero is still leading the charge for them. He is their true legitimate superstar. But they're still having trouble getting Diaz going again, and still having a little bit of trouble with Aranda, even though he had a big hit yesterday. So their bullpen's been really good. They gave up, I don't know. Well, they got way ahead yesterday, and then Peralta did whatever Peralta does. So, and then they still won the game. Today, Sugano's pitching, and I think it's time Sugano gets rocked up a little bit. So Sugano, last time out was a game score 63. He doesn't do that often. And his game score over his last 3 starts is a 52. Keep in mind, over his last 7, it's a 44. So that's his normal 44. For the season, he's a 47. So that's not the best. He's obviously a soft tosser. He tries to get people out. The Rays have seen him a lot because he was a Baltimore Oriole, so they've seen him in the same division. They've seen him a lot. They know what they're going to get. I think this is a pretty good spot for the Rays. Now, having said that, the number in this game is minus 150. So there you go again. This is that minus 150 spot. I would rather play at minus 150 at home than minus 150 on the road. I do think this is a spot where Tampa wins this game. My computer doesn't like it as much as I do. My computer says Colorado's going to win. I don't think so. I think this is a spot where the Rays are going to win, and I know why the computer says that, because it looks at Martinez's numbers and goes, he's no good. Well, he's won 11 games or whatever it is, and it says, well, Sugano's better. Well, Sugano's not better. They're very quality-wise pretty close in terms of how they do stuff, because they're both soft tosser pitchers. But I do like how Tampa Bay can attack that. I've seen this pitcher a lot, so I like them today. I'm just going to sort of skip over this game. this is the Angels and the Orioles. Neither team's in the mix. Neither team's doing anything. You got Detmers, who's a really good pitcher. But look, let me just say it this way. Rogers, over his last 7 starts, there's one pitcher in all the 30 pitchers today, one that's better than him. Rocket Sauce says can't go around looking like a hippie. Yes, you can. You can be a hippie. That's more fun to be a hippie. I can't go around looking like a hippie because I got no hair up here. I mean, it's all gone. So if you got hair, keep it. I'm just kidding. Detmers over his last 7 starts is a 48. So I like the Orioles. Says, by the way, Nola over 2.5 earned runs like clockwork. There you go. I mean, look, just chalk it up and bet it every time. I don't know what the juice is on that, but bet it up every time, and keep playing it if it keeps winning. So anyway, I'm not going to get involved in that game. I think the pitchers are kind of tight. The offenses, the Angels offense is terrible. It's 30th in all of baseball. They're not hitting at all. They're scoring 1.8 runs a game, but Baltimore's scoring 2.3 runs a game. So I'm not getting involved in this game. Irvin and the Phillies. All right, so Jake Irvin can be a quality pitcher at times. His projected WAR number, by the way, is like 1.7. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not 3, it's not 4, it's not 5 like a Skeens, it's not 6 like some of the other guys, the best in baseball. But it's not like Painter's number either. So Painter's a little worse than what Jake Irvin is. But at the same time, Jake Irvin's making his second start off the disabled list. He could get shelled today. He could go through a great game today. Painter is making his second start since being recalled from the minor leagues. That he went down there and worked on a bunch of stuff and pitched pretty well in his first time out. His first inning wasn't good, but after that it was good. So I don't know what to expect from either pitcher. So then you go and say, well, offensively, let's look at what the Phillies are doing. They're pretty good right now. And Washington, who has been great all season on offense, they're not. They're not doing anything on offense. Offensively, Washington scoring 2.3 runs a game right now. They rank 28th in offense. That's very rare for them to be down there. They're usually in the top 10, and they're always scoring runs. They're not right now. So Wood, the guy that you need to have, Wood is hurt. He's out. He's not on the lineup. So you got to remember, Wood's out now, and they traded Garcia away, and Mead's gone. So the offense is changing. So I would be very cautious of backing and supporting the Nationals. That being said, I think this line is out of control. Painter's minus 176 today. 176. I think it should be more like 140. So I think you're playing an awful big premium to bet on the Phillies today. I'm not going to play that. I'm certainly not going to play the underdog side. Nicholas says, I agreed. We'll be fine. Nothing easy. Everything isn't peaches and cream. Cubs feeling themselves. Let's get a win. I believe Will Smith will be back early September. I hope you're right. I like Will Smith. I think Will Smith's one of the better catchers in baseball. He's a clutch performer. That's what he is. And every team. The good teams tend to have those guys. Muncie's that way. He's that way. So I like that. So I'm hoping he's back. I think that makes the Dodgers that much better. Look, these teams go on runs. The Cubs might be on a run right now. We'll see where that takes them. They're starting to move in on the Brewers a little bit. So we'll see if they can catch them. I don't think they will. They don't have the pitching to do it, but we'll see. Rocket South says, agree on Painter. No way in hell I'd pay that price. Look, I don't get it. I don't understand the price. I understand the where Washington is, but I don't understand why it's minus 175 on Painter. I mean, my number's not that. Jeff says Yandy Diaz is not in the lineup for the Rays today. Now, I will say Yandy Diaz is hurt. He's fighting through some stuff in his right shoulder or left shoulder. I don't remember. It's a shoulder injury. He's trying to fight through it. He plays first base, so I mean, it's not like it's the worst thing in the world. But that's what he's doing. He's trying to fight through it. He's a 300-plus hitter, big home run guy, too. I think he's one of the most undervalued players in all of Major League Baseball. But that all being said, there's one of the three guys that need to be in the lineup and hitting is not going to be in there for the Rays. So, maybe they think they can beat Sugana without him. I don't know. We'll see what that looks like. And here's some more interesting stuff. So Cleveland and the Mets. So yesterday I said, hey, this is way too out of line for Cleveland, and the Mets won the game. Today, you have the line's about where it's supposed to be. But here's what I'll tell you. Christian Scott's been really good. Tanner Bybee has not. So I like what the additions that Cleveland has done. And Joe Adell got 2 hits or whatever the first day he goes out there. I think Cleveland's going to start hitting, and they're going to be a little better. The Mets aren't hitting. Otherwise, I'd tell you that the Mets are the right side again today. But I think the line's right. So the other problem with this is Scott's off a game score 68, and his season's a game score 54. So he's an above-average pitcher. But Bybee, he's having trouble. He's not striking guys out. So balls in play edge is going to be to the Mets. So we'll see what they can do because they're not hitting the Mets. The Mets offense, they rank 25th in baseball, scoring 2.8 runs a game. You can't bet on them. So you can't bet on Cleveland either. So I'm like, well, I guess you got to skip this game. Nicholas says with Skubal, I love our rotation. Will Smith and Skubal is huge. He only pitched 6 innings. Swanson first pitch homer took a chopper to score in the second run. I agree. Mookie has to start coming through. Hey, look, there's nothing wrong with getting the best pitcher in baseball to come to your team. That's only helpful. So I said yesterday, well maybe not yesterday, but the day of the trade deadline. This could be the best rotation ever. It could be, and I don't be disrespectful to any other rotation in baseball, but when you stacking up these guys, former Cy Youngs and MVPs and all the stuff that they got over there, and lefties and righties and whatever, it's very, very tough to beat the Dodgers. With that staff. Now, that being said, can you beat them? Sure. But it's very difficult. And you're going to have the Dodgers not hit. And your pitcher is going to have to be pretty good. Rushing, very small chance to catch this year. Dodgers want to keep left-handed bat available off the bench. Yeah, but he's hurt, and I'm afraid that he's not going to make it back. So, even if he does come back, and catching, maybe he can't throw and maybe he can hit. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. Sometimes they do that with these guys that I remember Harper came back when, had Tommy John and he couldn't throw the ball, but they could let him hit. And so he DH'd. So, maybe that's something that they could do with the Dodgers. But I like how the Dodgers use their DH. They a lot of times it's not necessarily a power hitter. A lot of times they're just putting guys in positions to make their offense work a little better. And you know what? That's a very productive thing to think about when you're thinking about offense. It's kind of like yesterday in the first game for the Phillies, Arise batting cleanup. Well, everybody and their brother thought Arise was going to bat first or second, so that when the homers came from Schwarber or from Harper, they get 2-run homers or 3-run homers. Well, what happened in the first inning? He drives in the first run because he's the batter in the fourth, and then the next guy comes up, boom, hits in the ground ball, double play, and inning's over. So maybe that's sort of how the offense should flow. I don't know. We'll see what it looks like as they kind of work through what the best scenario for them is. But I do like how the Dodgers use their DH. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here either because this is the A's and the Reds. The only thing I will tell you is Cincinnati's kind of coming a little bit. Keep an eye on Cincinnati, not in a sense to make the playoffs, but a sense you want to bet on teams on runs. And Cincinnati's kind of on a run, and they're playing one of the worst teams in the game. The A's are terrible, like terrible. But I don't like Louder, and I'm not going to go sit here. Where's the Cincinnati? Cincinnati's like minus 145, 150. I'm not doing that. Anyway, Rocket Sauce says, cleanup is the guy leading off the second inning for the Phillies. Well, can be at times. But, one thing I will disagree with you on right now with the Phillies is Trey Turner's hitting. Schwarber's not. And Harper has been. So it seems like when Turner's not hitting, Schwarber is, and Harper's still hitting. So Harper's been pretty consistent most of the season. But I do agree that, sometimes they run into this. I think that they got to move Bohm out and put Marsh up there or I don't like Real Muto. So they got to figure out how to figure out who goes in some of these other spots to keep the offense rolling because Bohm's a ground ball double play guy. And used to be that he hit gap or doubles, but he doesn't do that much anymore. So I don't know what's going on with Bohm. So now we're into St. Louis, and we're into the Yankees. And this is interesting because Palante is pitching for the Cardinals. Now, they got rid of May, so the best pitcher on the Cardinals pitching staff right now is Palante. Now, Palante's not a big strikeout guy. Palante's a ground ball guy. He's a 60% ground baller. So if he can keep the ball on the ground, what does that mean? Well, how do the Yankees win? You see, they hit home runs. They're not stringing a whole bunch of hits together. They had 5 hits yesterday. That's it. They're still not hitting. You might think they are, but the Yankees are scoring 2.7 runs a game. They rank 27th in offense, but 7th in isolated power. Here's a good one for you. They've scored 6. The Yankees have scored 16 runs in the last 6 games, but hit 11 home runs. 16 runs, 11 home runs. So that's the only way they score. And if you don't walk them, they hit a bunch of solo home runs, and you can beat them. So then I started looking at it going, okay, well, that I don't know. Like this kid George Lombard had a great day yesterday. So the new guys coming in are an influx of hitting. Luis Garcia has gotten 4 hits in 2 games, and that's phenomenal for the Yankees. And then they brought in Julio Ramos, who's gonna hit. So I'm not gonna sit here and not tell you that I think the Yankees can hit now. I think they can. Ben Rice is struggling, so they could use Cody Bellinger back ASAP. And I don't know where Judge is. So, Judge is maybe, September sometime. So when they get these guys back, they're going to have a formidable offense. But right now it's kind of tinkering around and it's starting to move a little bit. But that said, I don't know what you're going to get from Will Warren. Will Warren threw a whole bunch of bad games, and then he threw a great game the last time out. I bet against the Yankees, and Will Warren goes out and shuts down the teams. So the Cardinals don't hit real well. They got Alec Burleson, who's doing very well. Jordan Walker didn't play yesterday. I don't know if he's in the lineup tonight. Then when you start to look at the number in the game and you go, oh, Yankees, minus 150. It's too high. You can't play that stuff. And because it's untrustworthy, especially with Palante on the mound. The Yankees can beat up the bullpen, but the Yankees bullpen hasn't been the greatest either, and they didn't get a whole lot of support or help in their bullpen. So I didn't like it. Now we're on to the Boston White Sox game. Says Schwarber and Walker combined for 1 homer since homer contest. Yep, there you go. Neither one of those guys are doing anything since the homer contest. And then you got where is it? White Sox and Red Sox. And here's where I'm going to start. Sonny Gray's a game score 56 for the season. So, like I said, he's not an ace. He's pretty damn good. 56 is pretty good. 50 is average, so he's way better than average, right? So he's an above average starting pitcher. Sean Burke, he's a 56. Same thing. So you got the same kind of pitchers going against each other. In the last 7 starts, Sonny Gray's a 59.6. That's ace-like. That's really good. Sean Burke, 67. That's better. So Sean Burke's been the better pitcher in the last 7. He's even for the season. His metrics are phenomenal. He's a 2.52 xFIP, 2.30 Sierra guy with a 36% strikeout rate. That's elite stuff. And Sonny Gray's a 15% strikeout guy. Swing and miss rate is 7.9 for him. Balls in play edge goes to the White Sox. Offensively, Rocket Sauce, Burke has been a K machine. Love that dude. No question. He's been great. There's no question. He's 31% strikeouts, 14.7% swing and miss guy. Here's the difference in the game. The difference in the game is, can he do that and limit the balls in play, which looks like he can, because when he gets hit, his batting average against is 297, almost 300. And the difference for Sonny Gray is the batting average against for him is where's Sonny Gray? Well, no, look, I got it backwards. He's still 284, and it's 187 for the other way. So I like Burke all the way around in this game. His whip rate's 0.66, and he's got a super good RE24 score, super good. Now his pitching. Let's go over to where he's at. Burke. Boom. Burke has a game score of 75, 66, 78, 73, 63, 59, 60. For his last 7 starts, he hasn't had a hiccup. Well, maybe he has a hiccup. Maybe he's due for one. But what you can't do with guys that are good is you can't go and say, well, he's going to have one. Because he might not have it this time. Maybe it's next time. You just don't know. Whereas for Sonny Gray, 56-31. So he's had his hiccup already. So I sort of expect him to pitch halfway decent. I expect it to be a lower scoring kind of battle and figure out who's going to win the game kind of spot here. And the White Sox are scoring 3.8 runs a game, and the Red Sox 7.8 runs. So you got a big edge on offense, but I think Burke can counterbalance that a little bit. The line in this game is Red Sox minus like 125 or something, maybe 130. My number was minus 130. I just feel like Burke's pretty good. I feel like the balls in play edge goes to the White Sox. But you still got to battle through the Red Sox bullpen, and it's really, really good. Again, sort of coin flippish. But coin flippish wise, you can take the small number and say, hey, the Red Sox are going to win again, or you can take the dog side on a small dog. My preference is the small dog side, but we'll see. I don't know what to do with these games with Bryce Elder anymore. I don't like Bryce Elder, but he just keeps winning. And then if I go bet on him, he loses. So it's Bryce Elder is the most confusing kind of pitcher that there is out there. And today he's going to face Yuri Perez, who's been pretty damn good. Yuri Perez, over his last 7 starts, is a 65.9 game score. 65.9. So what does that mean? Let's go over his game scores real quick. Yuri Perez. His last time out, is that really right? No, he's got to be up there. Yeah, there he is. All right, so I'm like, wait a minute, he threw a 22? He didn't throw a 22. So he threw a game score 66, 59, so ace, 59, 77, 56, 90, 59, 54. He's been very consistently above and beyond what a pitcher can do, and he's a big strikeout guy, big stuff, throws 98 miles an hour. tough hombre, so to speak. That said, the Braves have seen him a ton. So the Braves are very familiar with Yuri Perez. In fact, he has a ex-WOBA number against the Braves lineup of .395. Well, that's not very good. 395, that's like a batting average. He wanted it to be like 340 or more. Well, 395 is almost 400. That's a red line. That's not good. So that means the Braves have seen him, they've done well against him, and they hit him. To give you a comparison, right? The Marlins have certainly seen Elder, and he's up 333 against him, which is an average number, and that's kind of what you would expect on two teams that have seen each other a lot. So I think when you start looking at this, you go, over the course of the season, Perez is a 56. Okay, we just said 56 was good. That's what Sonny Gray was. And then Bryce Elder, he's a 51. Well, that's an average pitcher. So he's going to do average at times, bad at times. Last time out, 56. Last 3 starts, 52. Last 7 starts, he was terrible, 34.5. That's because he had a lot of starts four starts ago that were in the 20s. He's been really, really bad, but he looks like he's turning things around a little bit. I don't know if you can turn things around a little bit this late in the season, but these two teams are very familiar with each other. The Braves are on a little bit of a run again. The Phillies can't catch them, and the Braves are pulling away. So the number in this game is Braves minus 115. The Braves at home in the last, this was good too. The Braves at home, and that sort of surprised me, in the last 30 days. So I look at it in 30-day stretches. There is nobody better in today's home teams. 140 weighted runs created plus. They're playing great at home, 40% above average, and the Marlins 74 weighted runs created plus, 26% worse than average on the road. So I can't take Yuri Perez. I could only take the Braves, and I sit there and wonder sometimes about these Braves, because when you watch them play and you bet on them, it's like watching the Yankees. They got to hit home runs. And you go, holy crap, they finally did something. And you wait for it, and you wait for it, and you wait for it. And then they might even get behind, and then all of a sudden they do something good. So they're a pain in the butt, but they're only minus 115. I don't necessarily mind the Braves today. I don't think it's terrible. And then my computer, I don't think likes them though. My computer has it 4-4. It likes Yuri Perez, but the Braves are hitting a little bit. The Braves are 124 weighted runs created plus, 4.8 runs better than an average offense. But their bullpen's not been good, so I don't. It is what it is. The one game that I really, really like, and that I really Jeff, I think I should probably do 2 more games. So I'm going to do. We got to talk about Paul Skeens, don't we? We probably should. Paul Skeens is pitching today. Hey, it's Paul Skeens Day. So here's a couple of notes, okay, on Paul Skeens. Number 1, Paul Skeens' last start was a game score 22. Paul Skeens for the season is a game score 56. That's like what Sonny Gray is. So is Paul Skeens an ace? No, he's not an ace. Not this year. And his last 7, I've never seen it. Never. Paul Skeens is a game score 47. 47 in his last 7 starts. That's oh my God, that's below average. That's oh my God. Kenny Magner says Paul Skeens is an underdog today. He is, and he should be, because not 100% because he's the worst pitcher. Now, I just said all that bad stuff about Paul Skeens, and I'm going to say more bad stuff about Paul Skeens. But let's say some good things about Paul Skeens. Number 1, the good thing is Paul Skeens, he has a 3.05 xFIP, 3.18 Sierra number, so it's a 314 combined score, and Harrison is a 3.21, so they're about the same. Well, you got to remember, Skeens is supposed to be better than Harrison, and they're about the same. And strikeouts, Paul Skeens is still striking out 31% of the guys. He's elite in strikeouts. His walk rate is 8.5%. That's where part of the problem is. His walk rates are not above average, but average. But for him, that's above average. And then his home run rates are fine. Here's where his issue is. His batting average against him is 292. Can you imagine almost hitting 300 against Paul Skeens? Well, that's where they are. They're almost 300 against Paul Skeens. His whip rate is 1.5 guys, 1.48 guys. That's not good. You're not going to win a lot of games when you put all those guys on base. It just doesn't happen like that, right? It just doesn't. So Harrison has an edge there. But the biggest edge in this game is Milwaukee's hitting and Pittsburgh isn't. So I like the idea that you can go with Milwaukee and win. What I don't like is if I go back there, where's Harrison? Harrison hasn't pitched a whole lot lately. He's pitched one game coming off the disabled list. And a bunch of it starts before that. He pitched a 56. And then he's got, I'm sorry, he didn't pitch a 56. That's his number. He's missed 4 starts. Prior to that was a 43 and a 38 and a 59. So what Harrison do you get today? I don't know the answer to that. If Harrison is bad and Skeens is bad, yeah, but I don't know what to do with this game. So do you want to play the favorite at minus 120 or whatever it is? It's Skeens. Yeah. Milwaukee minus 120. I don't want to do that. Do you want to play on Skeens? Well, I don't want to do that either. So I'm just like, I'll watch it and see what happens. But here's the bet. I bet you have San Diego plays Arizona tonight. Casey Mize is making his Arizona debut tonight, and he's pitching against Bratt. Now, if you don't know who Bratt is, Bratt's one of the worst pitchers in baseball right now. He's bad. Bratt is here's his numbers. He's a 7.22 xFIP, a 6.93 Sierra, and he just threw a 55 the last time out. And he's still got those numbers. That's ridiculous. He is a 10% strikeout guy. So he's not striking guys out. Balls are in play. But he walks 15%. So he walks 5% more guys than he strikes out. He puts them on base. So that's a big edge to San Diego. Batting average against is 296. He's got a 1.92 whip rate. So he's putting guys on. And you know what Casey Mize is. Casey Mize is an ace. His 59 for the season game score for Casey Mize. Now, here's the other part. The bullpen for Arizona is average. The bullpen for San Diego is back to being good again. They're one of the best in the sport. And then when it comes to the hitters and the batters, they're about even. You've got 1.8 positive runs above average for San Diego, negative 1.3 for Arizona. Well, I think you've got a pretty big advantage as the pitcher for San Diego. But I also think when you look at the breakdown, and this is why I do it this way, you have a net negative 3 guys for Arizona, 5 guys who are pulling away from their offense, and you have a net positive 2 guys for the Padres. So their offense is clicking a lot more than what Arizona is. So I think you got an Arizona or a Padres offense advantage. You've got a Padres bullpen advantage. You've got a Padres starting pitcher advantage. And the Padres are minus 118. Give me that. I'll take that. And that's what I bet. I bet Mize and the Padres tonight against Arizona. I did not go back to the well and bet Detroit tonight. Woo's not been good, but it's a bullpen game for Detroit. And Detroit's offense has been, they're number 2 in the league right now. So Detroit's been hitting.
Before I wrap it up, I just want to go through some shout outs here because we had a big Q&A and a lot of thoughts here. Shout out to Timmy, PB, Rocket Sauce, of course. Nicholas, welcome to the team here. Kenny Magner at Fenway Park. Again, make sure you get a sausage, pepper, and onion outside the park. And be careful, get it from the sausage guy. You'll thank me later tonight. There now, some tricks of the trade in the market. I want to say this: the Dodgers are dogs today. Right now at the Circa, Munger and the Cubs are minus 120. The Dodgers are plus 108. But what is hidden behind the door, which is a eye opener to me, is that the Dodgers are minus 1.5 runs plus 52 cents here. So it's the banana behind the tailpipe, as we like to say. It's peeling layers back. You go and lay the short favorite on the Cubs. They're supposed to also be the run line, minus 1.5 plus whatever. They're dogs at the Circa, the Dodgers are, but they're the favorites on the run line. So again, that's just peeling a layer back. Also, be careful if you want to jump on the Dodgers today. Trent from Pickett or wherever the bleep he's from is got a 10-unit mega wheel, max this, blah, 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 on the Dodgers today. That's number one. Number two, Skeens is a dog that, yes, real eye opener. It's like when Tom Brady and the Patriots are underdogs, Patrick Mahomes underdogs. But there was a tweet out there early last week after his awful start again, that in all his starts, it showed a number of pitchers that he threw for 98 plus. And beginning of his career, there was a ton. Well, in his last 11 starts, I think he's thrown about 5. So either he's holding back or there's just something there or it's a new pitch. So again, we'll see there. Kenny says the Dodgers are like rocket sauce. They're due. So me and Scotty will be off tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday. Scotty, we said noon on Friday, right?
Yeah, I'm good with you. Yeah, that's fine.
Tomorrow, 10 o'clock, Matthew George will be back live from New York City. We'll talk some New York sports there. Guys, it was an amazing show. We can't thank you enough. There you go. There's the dynamic duo right there, Rocket Sauce and Kenny Magna. I just finished up a slow draft with some Hall of Famers, guys. Who did I have in there? I had actually, let me give you the tote board there. Who did we have in there? We had Mr. Vaccaro. We had Mr. O'Brien, Mr. Shepard, RT from Montana, and Mr. Edelman. And the draft before, I had Hall of Famer Mr. Shrebo. So getting the work in, boys. They're coming. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much. Enjoy yourself. Kenny, catch a foul ball. Enjoy. Let's the Sox keep going. I don't expect a touchdown in the first inning. Tough game here. Number says it's a White Sox day, but Kenny, you're going to bring us some luck. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, the one and only Mr. Scotty Webb at Webby20 MLB, we wish everyone a blessed day. Rocket Sauce says Shrebo, that is Zach's favorite person, LOL. Guys, enjoy yourself. Friday, high noon, and stay tuned.